If you're not listening to the Smoke World podcast, you're wasting your time, you mortal.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. I'm your host, Stone. So grab that stick, go grab a glass, whatever you're drinking. Let's sit back and have a conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at Smoke World Podcast. Email stone at smokeworldpodcast.com. The website, go check out the website. Yeah. Yo, go check out the website. We got stuff going on. SmokeWorldPodcast.com. The cigars are here. And right now we're running a special with my main man who's the guest on the show today. Cigar Recon, my brother Dante. So again, check out SmokeWorldPodcast.com. That's the website. Go check out some of those sponsors. Go support those sponsors. They believe in me. They believe in us. This is what we do. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this episode. Now, listen, folks. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if you haven't been vaccinated for the COVID-19 virus, please go get vaccinated. I'm only telling this because I like you. I love you. I might want to see you in the future. I want to sit down and have a conversation with you. So again, go get vaccinated. That's my PSA. Don't hate me for that. I just love you. But the reason I say that, as things are starting to make a move in the right direction, somewhat, okay, for the vaccinated, I'm able to get out to some of these different lounges and sit down and actually come to you from venues, locations, whether it be personal, lounge, club, car, and have a conversation with individuals. So this episode, I'm sitting down one of my brothers of the Leafs crib. That's house for some folks who don't understand street terms. And we're having a great time, and I decided to record a podcast because brother Dante, the newly granted king of Cigar Recon, showed up. So I pulled out the mic and we created what we call Smoke World Podcast. So without further ado, here we go, folks. Enjoy. What's up, folks? Today we're sitting here at round table format with the brothers of the Leaf. We have a special guest in the building, my brother Dante. He just started a new cigar brand, Cigar Recon. Brother Dante, congratulations on your brand. What's up, brother? What's going on with you?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'm well, no complaints. Busy, hard work, but end of the day, man, it's going to replace my 9 to 5. So, it's worth it at the end.
Now, you was a guest previously. We talked about the cigars and crypto.
Right.
So now you've moved to a new platform. I guess let's say new, but you're kind of full-time into doing the cigar scenario. Again, congratulations on that. So just to bring folks up to speed, my demographics on each guest, kind of remind the folks where you're from, give them a little background on who you are so we can get into the story so we can understand exactly the path that you took to get where you're at right now.
All right. Well, I got into cigar smoking in 2014. Same time I got into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Kind of started out as a way to get to know a neighbor who didn't appear to be too friendly to me. But took me out to a cigar lounge. Shout out to Lord Davidus in Columbia, Maryland.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And sat down there for about 4 hours. Me and my neighbor turned up. And the first cigar I think I smoked was a Flor de Oliva. And I was turned out then, bro. You know what I mean? After that, I was like, I need another one and another one and another one.
All right, so that's what's up, brother. Again, so let's talk about the cigar brand.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons. Let's talk about the path. What made you, what light went off in your head to say, you know what, I'm going to start my own brand? What was it that triggered that whole memory, that whole thought?
Were you smoking somewhere and this came to you? Were you sleeping, walking, working, tired of getting up? What was the scenario?
You know what, man? I was chasing a high. The first cigar that I ever smoked that really knocked my socks off was the CAO Amazon Basin. And
a banger.
You believe it or not, you were there when I got turned on to it at Tobacco Fields.
Wow.
By the governor.
Yeah.
The dude always watched CNN all the time in the lounge, right? He's like, yo, if you ain't never smoked a cigar, man, you ain't never smoked a cigar before. So I'm like, all right, whatever, right? So I go back, and my man hands me one. He's like, yo, you got to smoke this. And I smoked that cigar, and I was like, this is the best cigar I've ever had in my life. And
I agree.
then
I concur.
I started asking questions, right? I'm like, where is this from? What's the tobacco binder and filler? What's the significance of the cord instead of a band? And how does that impact the flavor when you get to the final third of the cigar? And so I found myself chasing that high. So then I said, all right, well, from here on out, I'm only going to smoke cigars that have that Brazilian Matafina, Matanorte, Arapiraca, or Braganca wrapper, right? And I never quite got that feeling again. But then I kind of delved into Dominican Puros. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm only going to smoke Puros. And I was doing big box brands, and then someone introduced me to boutique cigars. And I was like, so there are people out there who are playing with blends, making small batch cigars that have unique flavors, unique characteristics and construction. And I want to be a part of that. How do I get down with that? And I thought about it for a couple years, man. And then one day, I have a virtual cigar lounge, and shout out to my man Ken sitting with me today. You know what I mean? He's a member of this lounge. And one day I was like, you know what? I want to make my own cigar. Now, you know, when I said it, you know, everybody was like, yeah, okay, bro, because I'm hustle man. So if you know me, I'm hustle man. Any way I can turn $1 into $2, I'm here for that. I want that, right? And so I was doing this beard butter thing, and I was flipping stuff off of police auctions, and anything I could to like make money,
moves.
right? You know what I mean? But the cigar thing stuck with me, and so I was like, all right, well, how do I do this? And so I kept banging my head up against walls, like walking to a door. You know, you think this is the path, and then the door's not open, so you walk into it. And then one day, it just hit me, start asking questions. And so I started asking questions, and one thing led to the next, and then I found my first manufacturer willing to work with me on small batch. Then I was like, all right, cool. So now I got these cigars. How can I move them? And then I talked to the state of Delaware. They were like, yo, well, you need all of these licenses and these permits. And I was like, shit, I didn't know I needed all this stuff. So then I started going through that. And then I was like, well, I don't have distribution. So how do I work this? Well, I got an IT background. So I said, well, I'll go direct to consumer. So I threw up a little makeshift website, and I just started telling people about my cigar, handing them out unbanded, just smoke this, tell me what you think. And so it's actually gotten a little traction, man. And so now I'm thinking about, do I want to continue this direct to consumer, or do I want to go the route of a boutique manufacturer or boutique blend and get in the stores? So that's kind of the crossroads I'm at right now.
All right, we're going to rewind just a little bit. We're going to talk about your cigar, the blend, that process. You know, how are you able to get in contact with these manufacturers? This is what I love about the podcast, because, you know, we sit around in the cigar lounge and we have conversations. And like you said, you know, you're on a cigar hearth and ideas come to people.
Yeah.
Some people react, some people take action on those ideas. Mm-hmm. You're one of those individuals. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, brother.
So let's talk about the blend. As we move through this manufacturing process, did you have a connect? Because somebody's listening right now, inspired by your story. So what could you tell that individual? Okay, you said, boom, you had an idea. Started with an idea. What were the connects with manufacturing, if there were any?
Before I start, shout out to Risty, owner and founder of Jason Kroll Cigars. He's been instrumental in this process for me. Now to answer your question, because I wanted to loop him in first because I'm gonna go down this path. I started out because I have a podcast that talks about cigars and crypto. I've been fortunate enough to have retailers and blenders and manufacturers on my show.
Okay.
So when I said I wanted to take this path, I wanted to travel this path, I went to them. It was like, yo, I mean, what I got to do to get down with you? And they were like, well, you need $100,000. We need a $10,000 minimum order. You know what I'm saying? And that $10,000 minimum order, the $100,000 includes the 10,000 sticks, the boxes, the bands, FDA approvals and licensing and all that other kind of stuff. Well, I don't have 100 racks to put out for that.
Yeah, I was going to stop right there and say, whoa.
Right.
$100,000, you just shut somebody's dream down.
Right, immediately. But I said, okay. So I kept asking. So I went to this dude at Pier 28 Cigars. My man was like, yo, well, I worked through this company. I worked through that company. I worked through these people. So then I went out and I hollered at Risty, kind of on the humble, was like, yo, Risty, man, you're doing what I want to do. I'm not trying to step on your toes, but I need to learn the game. Like, put me on. You know what I mean? I'm like, put me on the field. He was like, all right, well, if you're serious about this, you know, this is the stuff that you need. You need to be a retailer first. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went out and got my retail license, got a remote seller's license, threw up a website. And he was like, all right, look like you're serious. These are the places that I can tell you to go to get blends, right? And what they offer you are called predicated blends. So these are blends that have already been created that manufacturers are willing to sell to companies who want to sell their own cigar. Okay. So they're already registered with the FDA. You don't have to pay that. The markup on the cigar is a little bit higher, but the barrier of entry is a lot easier because they're willing to do small batch for you. So they'll say, well, instead of you 10,000 cigars, we'll rock with you at 1,000.
Okay.
So come up with $5,000 and we'll talk to you. So I went into hustle mode. I was all right. What can I do to make 5 racks? Again, I'm into crypto. So I was trading. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling shit, like my possessions and shit.
Right.
Trying to come up with 5 racks because the shit means something to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I was all right. So I came up with $5,200. And I was all right, I'm ready. What's up? He was like, all right, that's not for me. You need to go talk to these people. I just wanted to see if you was gonna get the money. All right. Right? You know what I mean? See if I'm real. So I was like, all right, I got the money. What's good? So then I reach out to these folks at Matza, right? And they're like, yo, we'll rock with you. We're gonna send you these blends. Send us $550 and you pay for the import tax, right? All right, cool. So they sent me 20 blends, 5 cigars each. It was like, yo, we need to hear from you in 30 days. So I'm smoking 100 cigars in 30 days.
Whoa.
Right?
You did.
Yeah. So then they was like, all right,
okay.
Out of these 20, you need to come back with 10. All right. I like number 1, 3, 8, blah, 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 blah. All right. So then they sent me 50 cigars, 5 each of the 10 that I picked. Mm-hmm. And I had to smoke those in 30 days.
After the 100 and something you smoked.
Right.
Wow,
right.
That's a lot of cigars. Okay.
Right. But I mean,
do what you got to do.
Right. If you in it, you in it.
Right. Cause plus, this is going to be your name,
right.
Your blend.
Right.
So it's something that you're going to have to sign off and say, you know what, I'm rocking with this.
Right.
So it's hard to say somebody else's palette because again, this has got your name. Mm-hmm. This is your brand. I feel you.
So they sent me those 10. I said, all right, I like these 5. Can you blend 2 or 3 of these together for me? Because I like characteristics of this one. I like smoke output of this one. I like the construction profile on this one. And I'm a big Robusto fan. I'm a 5x50 fan. And most of my cigars are 5x50. Okay. So it was all right, cool. So they were like, we're not sending you any more samples. Now you got to buy bundles. So I was like, all right, cool. I want a bundle of this one, and this one. Blended the way I want it. All right, cool. So then I said, I got these cigars. I love these cigars. Are people going to like these cigars? So then I went back to my hearth. Went to my family, was like, yo, I need y'all to smoke this shit. I need brutal feedback. So I picked 5 people. I said, yo, I'm gonna see you 4 cigars. 2 of them are gonna be big box. One of them's probably gonna be a Liga 9. I may send you an Opus. I'm gonna send you some high-end shit. And then I'm gonna send you 2 of mine. But I'm gonna take the labels off so you're not gonna know what they are.
Gotcha.
Right? And so I sent them out. And then I waited. It took like 2 weeks. I was holding my breath the whole time. Then they came back, they was like, yo, this one's great. This one's trash. This was all right, but I didn't like the smoke output. Or this 4th one is squishy. I wasn't feeling that, right? So I ranked their feedback numerically, and I did quantitative analysis on the feedback. Which is the best cigar based on these characteristics?
Gotcha.
As that's how I came up with the ZK Maduro Pigtail. It's the first cigar that I started selling. Everybody liked the Pigtail. It was like, yo, that shit's hot. I was like, all right, cool. And so I just sent out another batch because I'm bringing a Habano, a Connecticut, and a San Andreas Maduro in the lineup. And I've been testing a premium cigar. 1 Maduro, 1 Habano, and 1 African Cameroon. You know I fuck with African Cameroon.
Okay.
So that's my favorite, but I'm gonna do the same process. I'm gonna buy a bundle, send them out to my folks. I need your honest feedback. Tell me what you think about this cigar. You know what I mean? And so that's how I got my first cigar, and that's how I'm gonna get every single cigar that goes into the Cigar Recon lineup.
Nice. Now, if we can, I don't know if you're able to talk about the blends. All right, your Pigtail. Are you able to discuss what that blend is?
The Pigtail is a Nica Puro, right? Binder, wrapper, and filler all come from Jalapa. Beautiful, beautiful Maduro, oily wrapper. I get notes of coffee and like unsweetened chocolate when I smoke it.
Okay.
Right? The binder, solid binder. I like the fact that the cigar is constructed well because I get a really good ash when I smoke it.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much the lineup on the Maduro. Now the Habano and the Connecticut are the exact same way. Only difference is the Connecticut is an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with the Nica binder, Nica filler. Habano's the same way, Nica binder, Nica filler. And then I'm coming out with a San Andreas Torpedo, same thing. Mexican San Andreas wrapper with Nica binder, Nica filler.
Okay, so now as far as, you're just getting started with the journey. But if you were to tell, the listener right now that's listening, that's inspired by your story, what are the pros and cons, kind of where you're at already? You're just getting started. But, just the steps that you have taken already. What do you think you can share with the person who's listening? Like, yo, I got the same idea. This cat has inspired me. What would you be able to tell those individuals as far as this point, pros and cons? What has been some of the challenges? Again, obviously money is a start. But what other things could you share to say, you know what? You got the idea, if you got that dream, go forward. But here's some of the things that you need to be on the lookout for.
Can I be frank?
Absolutely. This is what we're talking about.
Fuck everybody who says you can't do it.
Drop the mic.
Don't let people transfer their fears and insecurities to you. If you want to do it, set your mind to it and do it. There's no run book, there's no playbook for how to do this. For me, in the state of Delaware, my advice to you is set up the entity first.
Okay. The business aspect of it.
Set that shit up first.
Gotcha.
Because it's nothing worse than having the cigars and then having to sit on them for 2 months while you figure out what to do next. So go out, get yourself an LLC to insulate yourself and your family and your assets from the business. Go out, get a remote seller's license so you can sell over the web. Go out, get a wholesaler's license so that you can sell to retailers. Go out and get a retailer license so that you can sell people face to face, sell to people face to face. right? Do that first. Get your EIN, then go set up a bank account. Warning, most payment processors will not fuck with you if you sell tobacco. So you have to find what's called a high-risk payment processor. There are a lot of them out there. 2Checkout is one, Authorize.net is one. There are a bunch of them out there. Be prepared to pay $2,000 up front. It's non-refundable. It's a fee that you have to pay just to be
able to do transactions,
to do high-risk transactions with them.
Do you know why it's high risk? Is it because it's tobacco?
Because it's tobacco. Okay. What happens if I send you a cigar and the wrapper's fucked up when you get it?
Yeah, so how would that work?
You gonna replace that?
Right, I'm gonna replace it, or you gonna call the credit card company and say refund me my transaction. Then you gonna hit me and say I need you to replace it. Now I'm out the money that you sent me, and I'm out the cigars.
Nice.
So you got to pay a premium to be a high risk, to operate in a high risk industry like tobacco. So be prepared to pay that. LLC, business licenses, that shit ain't $500 max.
Right.
Max. You know what I mean? The money's gonna really be in getting your blends. And the bands. Oh my God. Dog. The bands sometimes cost half as much as the cigars cost wholesale.
Really? Why do you think that is? Are you able to shop around to find the best price?
You can shop around,
doing that, but
you can shop around, but that's like the industry standard.
Now, do you have to put the bands on yourself, or how does that work?
I put my bands on myself because I can't afford to have my manufacturer do it for me.
Okay,
so
that is an option if you have the money.
Yeah, if you had the money.
Okay.
If you buying a boot, if you find a manufacturer willing to do a boutique blend for you, and you're lucky enough that they say, okay, 1,000 cigars, 10 boxes, 100 boxes. Do you want cardboard or do you want wood? You want cedar lined or not? What kind of bands you want? You want matte finish? The ones on mine are matte because I can afford that.
Okay.
You want embossed? You want foil? That's the difference between $3,500 having them do it and $10,000 having them do it.
Gotcha.
Why would you drop 10 grand on a cigar that no one smoked before? And as a single, for you to make money on that, you gotta sell that for $17. So now you're bringing a product to market for $17 that no one's ever smoked before.
Right.
And they don't know you.
Right. Right. Unknown.
You know what I mean?
Unknown.
So it's steps to this. EIN, business structure, licenses, bank account. Then start reaching out to people that can do the blends for you, that have predicated blends. Predicated meaning that these blends are already existing, the manufacturer already owns them. They can sign a license agreement over to you so that you have exclusive rights to sell that cigar.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, now you got to deal with the FDA. And if you thought $10,000 was a lot of money, they're going to fuck you up for real.
Absolutely. That's their job.
Right.
That's a job. Like I said, folks, if you listen to us, we're doing a town hall setting. I got the Brothers of the Leafs here. So I'm going to pass the mic around. You know, he brought up some great points. I had some feedback in the back, so I'm find out if anybody has a question for my brother Dante, brother Mark.
Are you looking for a new platform to connect with other cigar smokers, consumers, lounges, and brands while escaping tobacco-related rules of other social media platforms? Then look no further. Stogie Lives, the new social media platform for cigar lovers created by a female. So come join Stogie Lives, STOGIELIVES.com, where every cigar lover has a place to connect.
Good evening. I heard you say earlier that initially your main focus was finding something you love, which was cigars, but on top of that, replacing your 9-to-5. So how do you balance currently, continuing to work a 9-to-5 while following your passion?
That's a beautiful question, bro. I have learned how to master time management. I literally may have an hour to myself a day where I'm not asleep. I have a full-time job. I work a part-time job that I use to bootstrap this project. So I work 10 to 20 hours a week part-time so that I can pay for this. I own this cigar company, and then I own a media company that does podcasts and voiceovers. So I have no time. But the time that I do have, I've really had to learn how to balance. And it's important when to say no. I can't do that. I'm sorry, I don't have time. There's times I want to go hang out with my friend. I want to come to the gazebo, hang out with Smoke. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go back down to the district, hang with my man Ken. I just don't have time. And I have to prioritize what's important to me. Getting this brand off the ground is everything. Everything. Especially if I wanted to replace everything else I'm doing. You know? So time management, bro. Time management is where it's at. Great question, man.
Dante, my man.
Ken.
What's up?
What up?
Look, I've been rocking with you for a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
We met over COVID, smoking these cigars. I done smoked your cigar. Very good. I enjoyed them.
Thank you, brother.
So I'm not even going to ask you a question. I want you to promote yourself right now and tell everybody where you're going to be next Saturday, baby.
Right.
Let them know. Let them know.
All right, doing a flagship event next Saturday at Lit Cigar Lounge in Swedesboro, New Jersey. It is the first time that Cigar Recon will be out in the wild at a lounge, offering our cigars to any and everybody. Normally we sell direct to consumer, but right now I'm trying to move into Lit Cigar Lounge and take over space in 4 other lounges in this area. So if you're in New Jersey, near Swedesboro, exit 11 on 295, pull up, holler at your kin folk. We're going to smoke good. I'm going to sneak a bottle of yak in there. We're going to have a good time.
First of all,
Yeah.
you need to let folks know where they can go find a cigar. I'm going to say one thing. If you go to smokeworldpodcast.com, they're on the homepage. You have a deal going on, but how can folks find you and your cigar?
Go to Smoke World Podcast homepage. Smoke World. You will see the advertisement. You will see the advertisement on Smoke's homepage. Check me out at cigarrecon.com. I am uploading new content this weekend, well, actually today, where I advertise the Connecticut and the San Andreas Maduro. I'm expecting another shipment of the Habano in, and when I get those in, I'll be advertising those there as well. So, cigarrecon.com, Cigar Recon on Twitter, Cigar Recon on Instagram, Cigar Recon on Facebook. Hit me up.
All right, so
Smoke World. Tell us how to get to Smoke World.
Smoke World. My brother here, my man from San Fran's in the building. We're actually celebrating. He comes up every now and the blue. He traded on us and went to the West Coast. That battle's not that heavy now. We kind of laid back and left it alone since Biggie and Tupac. I think we learned a lesson. But he got the camera in his hand like he's a cameraman. I don't know why. But is there anything you want to say, brother? He's here for another week. Show some love. Tell him what's going on the West Coast, man. Share your ideas, your concepts. How you paying for like $500 for gas a gallon? All that.
What's up, y'all? It's good to be out here. I want to say it's been a pleasure just joining the podcast here tonight. I want to say this much, right? Get the cameras out of here, man. Get the cameers out of here. No, because I was gonna charge rights to that. In San Francisco, we like to monetize a couple things with technology, man. But nonetheless, joining this podcast, talking about cigars here. I mean, one of the things that was said earlier tonight, and one of the things I always appreciate when I'm able to light a cigar amongst the brothers, is the conversations surrounding it. You know, the bonds that they built, the time that we're able to take together. You know, like I've been ripping and running, man. I've been over here about 4 weeks from San Francisco, California, back in Delaware. I was up in New York, Baltimore, D.C., the whole northeastern corridor, having a good time, reconnecting with people, you know, keeping the circle small, loving on the people that I love. And I tell you this much, slowing down in Delaware here, it happened through cigars. You know, taking the time to do it, it's important. Out on the West Coast, tell you a little bit about San Francisco. San Francisco used to be 25% black. You know, through gentrification, dropped down to about 5% black. You know, gentrification is real. I mean, we talk about the model of how it happens, and you know, moving people out of a jurisdiction. It happened there. Hey, take care, y'all. So, you know, moving from Washington D.C., you know, Chocolate City, over to San Francisco, you find another black city, Oakland, California. And, you know, you're looking around, you're looking for cigar bars, you're looking for where people are able to sit down, connect, talk business, just have upliftment of one another, too. You know, because when you talk about the Bay Area, the amount of wealth that's built out there, I mean, I can tell you that there's a lot of venture capitalists out there, a lot of opportunities, a lot of entrepreneurship, in a sense. So you want to talk about breaking into a market, you know, when it talks about being serious and having those certain principles that set the foundation for yourself, you know, hearing that even here today, you know, is enlightening. You know, for myself, I got my own tax business. When it comes to me helping out people and understanding, you know, what it's like to not only just be an independent contractor, but become an entrepreneur and try to break out of, you know, collecting a W-2, you know, to start running some different tax filings, you know, 1065, you know, starting your LLC, a lot of those business basics, you know, having those conversations, a lot of people don't know anything about it, you know. So, you know, when it comes to like moving around in San Francisco and finding where you're like, well, what happened 25% of the people that were here, now it's down to 5% that look like me, that probably also want to get out of like W-2, you know, working on a W-2 and like have something for themselves. So out in San Francisco, California, where the 49ers play, you know, I've taken a lot of things to heart, you know, laying the foundation, you know, setting the conversations. One of the things about it is tobacco laws out there are a little bit different. Cigar bars have a little bit more restrictions. When I say that, they don't combine tobacco and alcohol. You know, I used to frequent hookah bars in D.C., and there they actually have liquor licenses as well. Out there it's 18 and up, and there's no liquor allowed. So it's like 18 and up crowd. So they come fill it up. Like, how much conversations can you have amongst adults of maturity at that point? You know, when they already setting it up. You know, and like where you can't have those things. Yeah, it's this beautiful night in Delaware. That's for sure. Thunderstorm came through, humidity going through. It's a different vibe for sure. So, you know, back to kind of like what that means when they have laying the foundation where it's hard to do it amongst cigars and tobacco, you know, and around. One of the things that is available is that a lot of people smoke outside. You know, temperatures around 66 degrees year round. You know, it's a good temperature. You can smoke outside in the parks, this area. No one really gives you any problems because they're smoking much more than tobacco. When you smoke cigars, you're able to also see other people that enjoy cigars. Then you start realizing there's more community there than you could, you know, just see besides like statistics and data on like the demographics around. So, 25%, 5%. I never see people, but, you know, I see black people every day in San Francisco. You know, I light up cigars on my balcony, people walking by, and they're like, oh, you smoke cigars? Oh, we're going to invite you over to, you know, this location. So it ends up helping a connection that you would never know. So back to San Francisco 49ers, and I'm going to die hard because I'm going to give a plug here. All right. I'm now, after living there for 4 years, growing up a Niners fan, I'm a season ticket holder now, you know. So when it comes to laying the foundation amongst conversations, you know, they have a smoking section in Santa Clara. If you ever want to come to Santa Clara to Levi Stadium, we got a smoking area out there, a couple cigars being smoked out there. You can watch over the mountain range of the San Andreas mountain range, I think it is. Yeah. So you would enjoy the scenery. I mean, when it comes to seeing the best views in the country, I think California got that along the coastline, especially in the Bay Area. And I think that when it comes to cigars, even though when I say like the laws don't set that foundation, if you always got to stick with you, if you're always there to carry with you, it's important. So now I want to ask a question, if you don't mind, is that you talked about, you know, setting the foundation and also having like an exit, right? Like for like say you sit on 20 cigars, you like can't keep sitting on, like product when you're trying to move it and trying to do other things. So one of the things that we kind of chatted about is like building a team. If you could talk a little bit about, what it means to build a team of support around you, and kind of what you kind of see now that you've, taken those foundation steps. Because a lot of people don't understand when you get to that point and like, oh, I need a team in front of me. So if you could talk a little bit about that, that'd be dope to hear.
Good question.
Yeah, very good question, man. I think I always think about things in threes, right? And I'm always thinking about the level up. How I get from where I am right now to the second floor to the penthouse, right? I think I am fortunate to have a group of friends around me that I trust, and I value both their opinions and their palates. I think the next step for me is sales and marketing, because what I don't want to have to do is continue to hustle. I don't want to have to work for my money. I want the money working for me. So getting my cigars in stores is the next step for me. Once they get in stores, instead of having constantly push out content to get people to come to my website to buy, all I gotta do is pull up on a shop and do an event. And now people know where I am, and then people pull up and then they hit up the event. And then the retailer's constantly selling my cigars. I make more money when I sell my cigars retail direct to consumer. But I'll make more money in volume if I have retailers buying 10, 15, 20 bundles of cigar from me a month. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I've heard it's like the drug game. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. I don't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sounds like numbers.
The
Right.
dope game. The dope game.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? But, it's do you want to make your money hand to hand, or do you want to make your money allowing other people to sell your product? And I would much rather have retailers have Cigar Recon cigars in their stores selling my product for me, so that I can focus on building my brand as opposed to focused solely on sales. I think once I get that sales piece going, once I have my cigar in shops, I think the next step up from me having my cigars in shops is building a large boutique brand with multiple offerings, multiple lineups, with collaborations with other companies. I would love to collaborate with Jason Crawl. I would love to collaborate with Mombacho. I would love to collaborate with AJ Fernandez. That shit would be epic if I could get down with AJ. But you know what I mean? I would love to collaborate with Matt Booth or John Huber or any of them. You know what I mean? I would love to be able to do that. And I think once I get to that point, once I get to that point, the world is my oyster, man. Just gonna crack it open and grab the pearl. Just keep it pushing.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's pretty dope.
Thank you, bro.
Yo, what's up, man? My name is Keith. I've been on the podcast a couple of times now. Stone, my man. So I just wanted to grab the mic right now because as we were having this conversation and it came to entrepreneurship a little bit, and I was hearing Dante talk, and then me and Tom were having a conversation on the side, and it just made me realize how much I really bang with my circle, because I do business with a lot of you guys, man, that are entrepreneurs, like business owners. Tom came and built my fence for me.
Yeah, mine too.
You did Dante's too.
And my shit is fire.
Right. Ira does my taxes for me. You know what I'm saying? I bought cigars from Dante before. I've got a car from Mark before. I bought something from C's last week. You know what I'm saying? Yo, so it just made me recognize that I'm really around a great group of brothers, man. Stone with the podcast. This is crazy, right? Everybody got something going on, and it makes me feel like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? When I see all of you guys doing things, and I'm like, yo, I gotta do something, man.
But that's the question.
That's
the question you should ask yourself. What is it that you really love? Not like, but what is it that you really love, right? And then how do you monetize that shit?
Right.
There's a way to monetize it because there's a market for everything. You know what I'm saying? If you love teaching, right? Let's connect you with Udemy. Let's connect you with Plural Sites. Let's connect you with LinkedIn Learning. I can turn you on to some instructional designers. So you can start putting out teaching like lessons and then have people paying you for them.
I saw that. You talked about that. Me and Steve talked about it.
Yeah, have people paying you for them.
And it's cool you said it because Tom and I had a good conversation a couple of weeks ago. And he was telling me, like, yo, I had an event. And he was like, yo, this is cool. And he was like, yo, you can monetize off of it. And I was like, I never thought about it. He was like, that's exactly why you should monetize off of it. Because it's something you having fun doing, you like to do, people are supporting you. He was like, yo, you should probably look into this. And we just had that conversation about 3 weeks ago. So it's crazy, man.
You want to know what's wild,
cool.
though? We were just talking about the next level for me being sales and marketing. Start that business, and I'll hire you to be an event planner for me to start planning my events for Cigar Recon.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, yo.
Let's circulate the money.
Yeah, that's great. Yo, that's
You know
dope
what I'm
too,
saying?
man.
Let's circulate the money.
That's some real shit right there, man.
Yeah, man, that's a Garvey principle, bro.
Right.
Stop these dollars leaving our ecosystem, man, and keep that shit in the circle, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna attest to Dante right here because my name's Kenneth Mullen, Keith brother. But ever since I've known Dante, he has always wanted to include everybody that's in the Her Society in his plan. He's like, well, look, you know how to do this, so I'm gonna get you to do this for me, and we can all make this work together, and we can all make this money.
Damn right.
And that's one thing I appreciate about Dante. Dante is an all-inclusive type dude. If you got a skill and he can use it, he's gonna put you to work.
Damn right.
And that's
And I'm gonna pay you.
I just
and
wanted
I'm
to
tell
say
other
that.
people about you. Like, my man, you gotta come back through the crib, bro. My neighbors is looking for you, dog. My neighbors was like, yo, my next door neighbor, man, was like, all right, when you put my fence in, right? You remember the fence that was behind it, that ratty, shitty piece of fence that was behind it? My man was like, yo, who did your fence? I was like, yo, my man did my fence, man. My shit is fly, right? He was like, yo, I like the lights on that shit. I said, that shit is dope, right? So my man was like, my house runs down from your house 3 houses down. I'm trying to tell you, I'm putting you on the game. My man was like, yo, I need a new fence all the way down because the neighbors ain't gonna pay for it. I gotta pay for it. I was like, yo, say less, I got you. So when I hit you up next, you know what I'm saying, this week, I'm gonna have my neighbor, my new neighbor, be like, yo, ready.
Yo, and it's so crazy because we can talk about these cigars again. Tom, I know Tom for years, man. Probably as long as I know Elliot, for real. He do fences. I talked to him, yo, what's up? In the cigar lounge, smoking cigars.
That's what I was gonna say, brother.
I'm talking to Dante. I'm like, yo, I just got my fence put in. He was like, yo, man, I'm trying to get my fence put in. and just made the connection. Wow. Look how that worked, man.
Yep.
That's cool, right?
Well, to piggyback off of Ken, at the cigar lounge, you can find anybody who does anything.
Yep.
Either you know somebody who does it, or one of your boys know somebody who do it. So, and going back off the concept of the talent that's in the cigar lounge, this group right here, ain't no reason why we can't make $5 million in 2 years.
2 years? 6 months.
Okay, that'll work. Say no more.
on.
I'm just saying that the knowledge base.
Run that number up a little.
Absolutely. But just the fact that so many talented individuals that sit and smoke cigars. Okay, we sitting there, we enjoying our time, but if we really put our minds to it, brother, the talent level, the skill set, is there. There's nothing to talk about. So Tom and quiet right. Tom will plug his own business. Tom will tell folks where they can find him at. Now I know you mostly do commercial, but he can tell you all that. But yeah, he's a talented young fella who make moves, who's making some money. He can tell you what he gonna do.
Man, I appreciate that plug, man. My name is Tom Shorts. The name of my company is Chazad Construction. That's Chasad. A lot of people get that twisted. You know, when I say the name, it's hard to spell it when you just hear it. But Chasad. Man, I really don't want to plug my business too much, man. I really just, I'm appreciative of having the opportunity to be here around you guys, man. Just the people I've met within the last 6 months or so. It's been a blessing. Just a little bit about how I got to where I am. I first started working for a company that manufactures the material that I install. Worked for them for maybe 8 months. Pretty much pushed my way in the door. I was told no on several occasions about becoming a contractor, and I just didn't take no for an answer, man. And I pushed my way in, and it grew quick. Just in the process of my journey, one thing that I lacked was mentorship, and the reason why was because just in my second year, my business jumped over 6 figures, and it wasn't a lot of people where I grew up, where I was born, I grew up at, that could relate to that, so it was no one for me to directly go to and talk and say, hey, how do I manage this? How do I make this go even farther? And I'm appreciative of this situation because I meet a lot of guys I've met through smoking cigars, knowing Keith, who I've met through Elliot, who's a good friend of mine. I've known Elliot for 30 plus years, and I've known Keith probably for at least 20 years. And meeting you guys, man, just really has been without a formal, how do I want to say this? Without a formal title on it, it's been a mentorship for me, right? Talking to guys who are on their own path and who are deep on their own path, and they're giving me pointers about just how to move. They don't even know they're giving me these pointers, right? They may be looking at me and talking to me like, oh, how do I do this, how do I do that? Yeah. And I'm like, just what you're telling me is helping me in my business, helping me to grow, get farther. Everything that Dante was saying earlier, man, I'm just sitting here like, oh my goodness, because there are other things that I want to dig into. Just recently, me and my wife, we've been planning to in Milford. So Keith knows that I was living in Newark pretty much when I met Dante and everyone else here. We ended up markets high. We sell our house and moved back to Milford, Delaware, which is in Sussex County. I moved down there. I completely hate it. It's super boring. It's different. Yeah, it's different from Newark, and it's nothing to do. It's the country, and me and wife talk, and just what can we do to bring kind of the vibe that Newark Bear has to the Milford area, because the African American community, Haitian community, it's strong down there, but it's nothing to do at night. And we've been, and you guys are here first, but we've been contemplating doing a hookah lounge in Milford. We're still in the process of trying to get it done, but hopefully it'll pop off, happen soon, and we can kind of make something,
Yeah.
Under the umbrella will be also a cigar lounge.
No, hopefully. No,
Right,
hopefully.
Exactly.
Speak that shit into existence. You know
I
what
appreciate
I mean?
that.
Mean that shit.
And this is another
Yeah.
reason why
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of being here, because normally I wouldn't get anyone who would say what Dante just said.
Yeah.
Don't speak it as possible.
Yeah.
Speak it as it's going to happen. And I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Speak that shit into. Look, man, words are spells.
Yes.
Words are spells. Everything we see around us right now started out as a thought. And someone said, I'm going to make that shit. Look at the beer bottle, bro. Someone said, there's got to be a way to hold liquid other than clay jars. Someone burned some sand one day, so hot that shit turned to glass. And someone said, I'm gonna form that shit. Everything, TVs, fucking watches on our arm, bruh. They were all thoughts that were spoken into existence. So when I hear brothers saying that they want to do something, and the minute they say I'm trying or it's possible or I'm thinking about, I'm like, nah, speak that shit loud, clear, mean that shit.
And I 100.
You know what I mean?
I
Mean
appreciate
that
that.
shit. Yeah,
Like
bro.
I said, I don't get that often, and we appreciate that. You know, that's why I love you guys. You know what I mean? Keith for giving the invite, and I hope that anything he has going on, that he'll shoot me an invitation, and you know we'll come through. We won't come empty-handed. You know, we're gonna always come. You know, and that's another thing that we don't talk about in our community. When you get invited somewhere, bring something. Show your appreciation. Show your love. Yes.
I'm added to the party.
And I appreciate that. You know. And
But sometimes bringing yourself is a gift in it as well.
it's always a gift.
Yep. Because sometimes people don't know,
Yeah.
or they don't have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
So you gotta respect that too. So I always, hey, your presence is a gift. Thank you for being here. I invited you. You came. I'm happy that you're here.
And Keith is right, but I think in our community, what we want to practice doing is going above and beyond. You know, that's the standard. We're going to go past the standard. I got this for you. I'm going to bring this, you know, and have something nice for you. But not to be on the mic too long, but, you know, I appreciate y'all, man. If you need to reach me, Keith, Dante, my bros, everybody has my information. Yes, sir. And anything you need done, man, if it's fence, and honestly, I know these guys from doing fences, but that's probably the least of my work. You know, probably 5% of what I do is fence. We do a lot more than that. Railing work, renovations.
So whoa.
decks.
How to get in contact with you?
Wait a minute.
Talk to-
Right?
yeah.
I need like some work. Do you do like interior work? All right. Take care. All right. I need my kitchen redone. I need my mudroom redone. I want my garage turned into a smoke world.
Talked about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like if you do that kind of stuff, like let people know.
Yeah. So
There's a website, you got a phone number, you on social
I do.
media?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is super humble.
Now, if you don't want to get that information out, you
No, I do have a website. I don't have it in front of me. My
How
card.
about
My
phone?
white.
You got your number? There's the number
Yes.
to contact you.
If you want to contact me about any work, whether you need a general contracting, if you want to build a brand new house and you just want someone to oversee it and make sure that it's done correctly, you can contact me at 302-430-6672. We have a mile worth of photos, pictures, work that we've done to complete it. If you want to know, the resume is definitely deep. It's 6-7 years of a lot of rail, you know, and that's not just in Delaware. I've probably 5% of my work is done in Delaware. Everything else is in Massachusetts, New York, Philadelphia, everywhere, Eastern Shoreboard, everywhere, man, all the way down to Virginia Beach. Yeah,
Yo, let's connect when this is done.
for sure.
Cause I got something else I got going on. Let's
If you want to see something in real time that I've done, if you're ever in Baltimore, you visit Baltimore on Light Street, which is right on the harbor. Just recently, maybe 2 years ago, the tallest building in Baltimore, it's a condo building. It's 44 stories high. We did all the balcony railing, all the glass railing, all the pool railing. If you want to get an idea of what we do, like the scope, how deep we can go, you know, and we can do that, anything from that far all the way down to the deck on the back of your house.
Nice.
You know, so
Nice.
you have my number again, 302-430-6672. My name is Tom. Just call me, man, and we'll chop it up. All consultations are free. We'll come and look at it. and give you some numbers, man. And if it works, it works. And we can go from there. Yep. But appreciate y'all, man. Keith, everybody here, man. Appreciate the invite. And anything I can do to help, man, I'm here.
All right, there you go, folks. This is what I'm talking about. See? All based on the cigar. You can't beat that. Brother Dante, as we wrap it up, brothers, anything that maybe we didn't go over that you want the folks to know? Again, I want you to go out your social media. I want you to give out where they can go find a cigar. Again, folks, it's a great cigar. Again, we smoked it, and everybody's palate's different, but like I said, we already had about 5 to 10 pallets. I'm telling you, that's a banger. But I'm going to let you, give the folks your social media again. And, as we wrap up, anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to say, this is your opportunity to do that.
Social media at Cigar Recon, all one word. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, cigarrecon.com. Phone number is 302-409-0513. Hit me up. I take a Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, credit cards, cash, Bitcoin. I take all that shit. And the only thing that I want to leave people with, again, fuck everybody who tells you can't do it.
Say it again.
Never let people transfer their fears to you. You can do it. If you believe it and you perceive it, you can achieve it. Just do it.
Folks, there you have it. This is what we love about smoking cigars. Cliche, whatever you want to say, Stone, you said it too many times. This is one of the reasons why we do what we do. The people you meet speaks for itself. Well, folks, there you have it. Another episode of Smoke World.
Smoke World.
In the books. Again, you can follow me on Instagram, Smoke World Podcast. Email, stone@smokeworldpodcast.com. The website, smokeworldpodcast.com. You'll find Cigar Recon on the homepage. He's got a deal going right now, $34.99. Get your 5-pack. You can't beat the deal, folks. So check it out, and we will check you out on the other side. Peace.
Peace.